Well, good evening, everyone. If I could have the roll taken, please.
Councilmember Engler,
Here.
Councilmember McNamee,
Here.
Councilmember Taylor,
Here.
and Mayor Pro Tem Newman,
Here.
and Mayor Adam.
And I'm here. And we do have a closed session tonight. If you'd announce that for us, Mr. Noonan.
Thank you, Mayor Adam. We actually have 3 closed sessions. First one is anticipated litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D4. And the second and third ones are pending litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 9456.9A. First one is California Department of Housing and Community Development versus Shangri-La Industries. And the second one is F. Roberts Construction versus Shangri-La Industries.
All right, thank you. We'll be back at 6. Well, good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting to order. And first up, Ms. Noonan, do you have anything to report from the closed session?
I do. Thank you very much. On a 5-0 vote, the City Council authorized initiation of litigation. The specifics regarding the parties to the litigation will be made available to the public as requested after service of process.
And if you'd all join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Couple of presentations. I'm going to come down to the podium. There we go. I like that handheld mic better. Good evening, everyone. I know my fellow city council members are well aware of this, but after many, many years, we adopted a brand new general plan update. The last one we had was in 1970, so you could say it was long overdue. It really sets a course for the next 25 years, a blueprint for the city, dealing with so many different things, whether it's public safety, whether it's the environment, whether it's housing, very important issues, and we needed a lot of help to get that done. Couldn't be done by just the 5 of us, obviously, and we had General Plan Advisory Committee helping us with that, 24 different people from all walks of life, business people, arts people, that were willing to spend, well, it was supposed to be 2 years, but ended up being about 4, maybe 5, to get this plan off the ground and running, and you did just that, and it's an incredible document, and we can't thank you more for helping us set the course for the next 25 years. Would the members of the General Plan Advisory Committee please stand up so we can give you a round of applause? There's a lot of work here, folks. A lot of work. I want to thank you again very much. Very important document. Would you like to get a photo with the council? It's not mandatory, but if you'd like one.
Happy to sign autographs as well. Oh.
I have to tell you, that was I cannot overstate it, a monumental achievement. I actually read it, too. It's very thick. Thank you again. Really appreciate it. Well, as most of you know, this is Black History Month as well, and we're starting to wind down the month here, celebrating the achievements of people that have been through incredible adversity and still managed to achieve great things here in our country, displaying great courage to share heritage, to share culture, to help shape this country and make it what it is. And it's phenomenal, really. It's really phenomenal. We have members here from the American Association of University Women who are champions when it comes to equity and inclusion and education. Sally Hibbets is here. Carol Keaveney is here as well. I'd like you to come up. And they both did a wonderful thing. They invited, and she's all the way from New York City, Cynthia Horner, if you'd come up as well. Come on up. Cynthia is Larry Horner's daughter, and I know you all remember Larry Horner. He was our first black mayor and council member, served 16 years on the council. Incredible guy. I knew Larry. He encouraged me. He did. He was very nice to me. You keep doing it, Al. You're doing okay, which meant a lot to me. Larry had his hand in so many things here in the city. The building that we stand in, he had something to do with. The teen center, the senior center, bringing Amgen to town, the Oaks Mall. Think if we didn't have the Oaks Mall, Larry had a lot to do with that. I mean, he was an institution. He was really a leader, too, a fine man. He always searched for common ground. He was not, things are so divisive these days, so it seems. Larry wanted to find common ground and get things done, and he did. And he shaped the city to the good of what it is now. Larry had a lot to do with that. And I know Larry's birthday's tomorrow, I believe, right? He would have been 94. Did I get that right?
Well, let's see. Died at 92, 93. He was born in 1930.
1930.
Yes.
How about that? Well, he lived a long life. He's a very respected man, and we're very grateful that he chose to devote a good portion of his life to the city. I really mean that. So we do have a certificate that we'd like to present, and then I'd like you all to maybe make a comment. But would you hold this for me, Sally? It's a proclamation. Thank you very much. Celebrating Black History Month.
Nice.
Yes, it's beautiful. And Larry's mentioned in here prominently, so I'll put that here.
Okay.
And if you all would care to share your thoughts, it would be great.
Okay, thank you. I'll say a few words for AUW and
Absolutely.
then share the microphone with these lovely ladies.
Oh, okay. Great.
Good evening, Mayor Adam, City Council members, and staff. My name is Sally Hibbets, and I'm co-president of the Thousand Oaks branch of AAUW, which is the American Association of University Women. Joining me this evening are Carol Keaveney, an AAUW member, and my new friend, Cynthia Horner, and they will share some thoughts with you briefly. For nearly 150 years, AAUW has been committed to improving the lives of families through advocacy, education, and research. On behalf of the large local AAUW membership, I express our gratitude to the City of Thousand Oaks for proclaiming February as Black History Month. This is not just a celebration of a designated month, it's also a recognition of a rich tapestry of history, diversity, and achievements that make our community such a wonderful place in which to live. Tonight, we are here to recognize Black History Month, but in a greater context, pay tribute to a trailblazer, a leader whose legacy has left an indelible mark on our city, the late council member Larry Horner, whose birthday is remembered tomorrow, February 28th. As Ventura County's first ever Black resident to be elected as a city council member and eventually, obviously, become a mayor in the entire county, Larry Horner holds a very special place in the heart of our residents. He is one of only 4 people who has served our city as mayor 4 times over, which is truly very remarkable. AAUW believes that the precedent-making legacy of Mr. Horner should be consistently recognized yearly and in a more specific and concrete manner. We hope this proclamation marks a meaningful first step forward as we bring renewed attention to this remarkable man. In conclusion, on behalf of AAUW, I extend our heartfelt gratitude to the city for recognizing Black History Month and recognizing Larry Horner. May his legacy inspire us to continue building a community that embraces diversity, equity, and progress. And wherever you are, Larry, happy birthday.
Thank you. Good evening, council members and fellow Thousand Oaks residents here in this room and out there virtually on Zoom. I'm C.J. Keebney, also known as Carol Keebney. I'm a 33-year resident of Newberry Park. I'm also a member of AAUW of Thousand Oaks, as you heard. So I also want to express my appreciation for the proclamation celebrating Black History Month, and further, the tribute that you give to a well-deserved person, Larry Horner. Before Patrick Keebney and I were married, I visited Newberry Park on several occasions, and during one of those visits, I picked up the Thousand Oaks News Chronicle. Some of you may remember that paper. And I was pleasantly surprised to read that one of the city council members was an African American. This must be a pretty progressive place, I thought to myself. And then years later, I had the pleasure of serving with Larry Horner on the Thousand Oaks Business Roundtable. During that time, Larry brought a quiet wisdom. You could almost say that he was more like a Yoda. He didn't have a lot to say, but when he did say something, it was very wise, and we all appreciated his contribution. And as time went on, I did get a chance to know both Larry and Betty, and as well as meet Kimberly, his daughter, on several occasions. And they're a fine example of great citizens, and they really brought a very esteemed touch of class to Thousand Oaks, and I'm glad that I've had the chance to know him, and I'm glad that now more citizens in Thousand Oaks will know about the contribution of my friend, who I'm proud to call a friend, Larry Horner.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council, and guests. My name is Cynthia Horner. I am the oldest daughter of Larry Horner, and I am a magazine publisher and journalist. I'm the CEO publisher of Right On Magazine, which is an entertainment publication that was launched through the careers of Michael Jackson and his famous family. I grew up in Westlake, and I attended Newberry Park High School, where I ended up being the high school reporter for a newspaper called the News Chronicle. So some of you, I assume, would remember that newspaper. I also wrote for the Valley News and Green Sheet, and I'm sure some of you remember that paper as well. Well, in any case, I actually take credit for getting my dad started on his career in politics, because I was also writing for our Westlake had a newsletter that went out to the residents, and I had a column called Horner's Corner. So when my dad got involved with running for city council, we decided that he should use Horner's Corner for his campaign slogan. And one of his best friends was Mormon, and so the different children and people that attended the Mormon church were the ones that led this grassroots campaign, going door to door with campaign literature that said, "I'm in Horner's Corner." And it actually worked. And of course, as we all know, that was groundbreaking, because there had never been a person of color elected to the city council. But diversity is something that my father always wanted to make sure happened, because he grew up during a time where there was segregation. People couldn't live where they wanted to live. They couldn't read if they wanted to learn to read. So he aspired to do better and make sure that he left a legacy for people regardless of race, color, and creed. And I think that he did a great job of it. He moved us out to the Thousand Oaks area back in 1968, where there wasn't much of anything but trees and jungle land. And one of the first people he met when he moved out here was Robert Culp, who was the star of the television show I Spy. And I took that photo, so that was my first professional photo that I ever took of anybody. But anyway, it's very heartwarming, and I'm very appreciative on behalf of our family, Betty Horner, Kimberly Horner, Larry Horner Jr., and sons-in-law Brian Harris and Kenneth Harris, for everything that the city has done and is attempting to do, because his legacy means a lot. Larry Horner was the type of person that inspired so many people, and he was just such an inspirational person. He was a patriarch. He was a big brother to people, an uncle, a father. He was just so many things to many people, and he was an incredibly brave man. He served honorably in the Korean conflict, because that's what we called it back then. It wasn't really called the Korean War. And he told me, not too long before he died, he told me a story about how when he was in the Army, he was at a Greyhound bus station, and he needed somewhere to sit. But back then, if you were a person of color, you could not sit where everybody else sat. You had to sit somewhere else, and there weren't any seats. And so he sat in an area he wasn't supposed to, and they asked him to move, and he said, "I'm not gonna move, there's nowhere to sit, I'm in the Army." And they said, "Well, you can be arrested because you shouldn't be sitting here." He said, "Okay, arrest me, then I won't have to go to Korea where I might get killed." So they were stunned. They said, "Please feel free to have a seat. You can come here anytime you're in town. Come here, we'll give you a meal." They apologized. And that was the kind of person he was. He was always breaking barriers. He didn't want anyone to ever tell you that you could not do what you wanted to do. And that's why we want to keep his name alive, so that young people would understand the significance of a Larry Horner and try to grow up to be the next Larry Horner. Thank you so much for your time. I could stand here all day telling you stories, but you have a council meeting to run, so I will give up my turn at the mic, and maybe one day you'll invite me back and I can talk some more about his legacy, because there are so many dimensions to him that you all are not even aware of. But we'll get to that at another time. Thank you again, and you have a wonderful evening, and I really appreciate this proclamation. And I know he's in heaven looking down, and he's probably saying, "Cynthia, you should have told the speech a different way."
Beautiful thoughts. Beautiful thoughts. Thank you. Beautiful. Your mom and dad were the original power couple here in the city. Yeah. They really were. My wife served with Betty on Volunteers in Policing for years. So the two of them were quite a team. Why don't we get a photo?
Okay, thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold up on that. Larry's daughter, Kimberly, is here as well to speak to us on Zoom. Not here in person, sorry. Would you want to put her on, Laura? All right. Let's hear Kimberly, and then we'll get a picture.
I didn't know she would be speaking, but I did speak to her on the phone. She's not on?
Not good, huh?
Need to make sure that Ms. Horner accepts the promotion and unmutes.
Shall we bring her back in public comments, perhaps?
We can do
How
that.
about we do that?
Okay.
How about we do?
We'll bring her
have
back for
Kimberly
public
speak
comments.
during public comments.
Okay.
All right? Okay.
All right.
Let's have a picture.
Okay.
Who wants to hold this? It's heavy. Oh, you will? Are you sure? Yeah. Okay, great. All right, well, thank you very much. Cynthia, those were great stories about your dad. I'd like to hear more sometime. All right, we do have one final presentation. I want to introduce Charlotte Burrows and Natasha Baran from the library. They're going to tell us a little bit about the library's One City, One Book selection for the year. Hello.
Hello, good evening, Mayor and council members. We are so pleased to be with you here tonight to announce the 2024 Thousand Oaks Reads One City, One Book selection. One City, One Book, as you know, is a citywide event which encourages our community members to collectively read and discuss the same book each year. This is our 16th year of providing this special program, which reinforces the idea that literature has the unique ability to build connections, to inspire meaningful conversations, and foster a shared sense of belonging. And with our services and programs, the Thousand Oaks Library also serves as this vibrant hub of cultural enrichment and a place to celebrate the power of storytelling. In the spirit of true community collaboration and engagement, this year we introduced a new approach for community members to vote for and help choose this year's Thousand Oaks Reads title. By inviting the members of the public and everyone to participate in the decision-making process for the One City, One Book selection, we reached new readers, we sparked curiosity, and invited fresh perspectives to this annual library program. I am pleased to announce that The Henna Artist by Alka Joshi was chosen by the community to be the 2024 One City, One Book selection. The Henna Artist, Alka Joshi's debut novel, is set in 1950s post-Raj northern India in the city of Jaipur. It follows Lakshmi, a skilled henna artist and confidant to the upper class, as she navigates the delicate balance between her dreams of independence and secrets of the past. The henna artist opens a door into a world that is lush and fascinating, and it is a vivid and compelling portrait of one woman's struggle for fulfillment in a society that was pivoting at that time between traditional and modern forces. The book is available at both libraries in a variety of formats. We have left a copy for each of you also here tonight. On Saturday, March 30th at 7 p.m., a special after-hours concert will kick off this year's One City, One Book celebration. It will feature Southern California's premier Bollywood band, Chili Beats. In the following weeks, workshops and programs inspired by this book will continue and will culminate with the author event, an afternoon with Alka Joshi on Sunday, April 28th, 2024, at 2 p.m. here at the Civic Arts Plaza in the Fred Cavley Theater. I've also left with you some information about this program and others. Free digital tickets are available for members of the public for the author event and are now available online. For further information and details, we ask that you check our website or continue to follow the city and our library on social media channels to keep up to date. Through One City, One Book, we aim to bring together diverse voices and viewpoints in a thoughtful exchange of ideas. A guiding principle for this program that really drives us and our committee that Natasha heads is the belief that when we open a book together, we close it in greater harmony. With appreciation, thank you for letting us come to announce to the community the Thousand Oaks Reads 2024 One City, One Book title selection, The Henna Artist.
Thank you very much. One city, one book, right here. The Henna Artist. Have to read that. Thank you again. Okay, on we go to public comments. If you would announce those, Ms. McGuire.
This is the time and place for public comments. Speakers are requested to state their name and community of residence for the record. 4 individuals have requested to speak, and pursuant to council standards, speakers are allowed 3 minutes. The yellow light displays when you have 1 minute remaining.
Thank you very much. And looks like first up will be Elias Zeladon Hutton.
Thank you very much. My name is Elias Zeladon Hutton, and I'm from Ventura, California. I would speak about Black History Month and other minority groups. So I've noticed around time and time that we have huge celebrations for Black History Month in schools and everywhere across the county. And it's a little concerning that we don't see a lot of that for other minority groups as well. During my experience in elementary school, we had a Black History Month celebration, and all across our district we did, but we didn't have any for Pride Month, Asian Pacific Islanders Month, Hispanic Heritage Month, and it really made me feel a little concerned about how people feel about this. And I think if we have more celebrations regarding these minority groups, then people will feel happier and more celebrated, and that when people are happier, it can cause a multitude of great outcomes. Thank you very much for listening. Have a nice day.
Well, thank you for sharing, Elias. Nicely done. Well thought out. Appreciate that. Next up, we have Jim Yarbrough.
I present the Thousand Oaks City Council with an important choice today. Various cities and local governments around the world and in the USA have called for a ceasefire in Gaza. About 70 cities in the USA have called for a ceasefire, including St. Louis, Minneapolis, Chicago, Atlanta, Seattle, and Detroit. In California, San Francisco, Long Beach, Richmond, Oakland, Berkeley, Laguna Beach, Pomona, Montebello, Hollister, Madera, Brentwood, and Contra Costa County, Davis, and Folsom have called for a ceasefire. Last night, the city of Ojai, California, at a special meeting, voted to place the issue of ceasefire and humanitarian aid in Gaza on their council agenda. The International Rescue Committee, Doctors Without Borders, and other organizations have called for a ceasefire. The International Court of Justice has advised there should be a ceasefire. I urge the Thousand Oaks City Council to pass a ceasefire resolution regarding Gaza and Israel. Taxpayer dollars from all over Ventura County are funding a humanitarian disaster in Gaza. We have crying needs in Ventura County, so why are we financing a disaster in Gaza? Here's a sample resolution. The Thousand Oaks City Council calls on all federal leaders and congresspeople to support negotiations that lead to a swift and lasting humanitarian ceasefire between Israel and Gaza for the safe passage of food, water, medical supplies, and other humanitarian aid to Gaza, and for the restoration of UNRWA, United Nations Relief and Works Agency, funding to the people of Gaza, and for a peaceful resolution to hostilities in that region. This council can also consult the city of Ojai to consider Ojai's proposed ceasefire resolution. Thank you for considering my request, and please take timely, compassionate action. And I am Jim Yarbrough from Newbury Park.
Thank you very much. Oh, I did neglect to mention that Councilmember Mikey Taylor is joining us via Zoom remotely. Evening, Councilmember Taylor.
Evening, thank you.
All right. All right, and now we have Kimberly Horner to speak with us.
Good evening. Thank you, City Council and Mayor, for allowing me an opportunity to speak this evening. My name is Kimberly Horner, and I am the daughter of Larry and Betty Horner. I currently live in Oregon, right outside of Portland, where I am a developer of affordable housing for communities of color in the Northeast Portland area. I share that with you because growing up in the city of Thousand Oaks, underneath the helm of my parents, we never suffered from housing insecurities or food insecurities. We always had more than enough. We had a lovely upbringing in the city of Thousand Oaks, and we were very fortunate to be a family of color that was well received in the community. I believe a lot of that was based on the personality that both my father and mother had, and they were very warm and engaging people. In 2021, when my father passed away, it was a very heartbreaking moment for our family in general, but a lot of residents that knew of my father in the city of Thousand Oaks also extended their condolences and wept alongside of our family, knowing what a great loss it was to lose such a very important figure in the city of Thousand Oaks. What my sister didn't inform you of was just the mere fact that my dad had other hobbies and talents. He was an avid watch collector, he spoke German, he loved to read, and he taught my sister to read at a very young age. And therefore, you didn't see a lot of my sister because she skipped 2 grades and was off to Pepperdine. She is the one that was before you this evening. My brother followed in my father's footsteps in the field of aerospace, and I followed in my father's footsteps in the field of working in city government, and now, as I mentioned, I'm the executive director of an affordable housing nonprofit. I am not with you tonight because, again, as I mentioned, I am in Oregon, and tomorrow we are breaking ground on a very important housing development project, which is 40 units of permanent affordable housing for senior citizens, particularly for the Black community. My staff arranged to have the groundbreaking on my father's birthday, which is tomorrow. In addition to his birthday being on February 28th, his father's birthday was on February 28th. So that's a little bit of a highlight about our family. And I wanted to also acknowledge the fact that my mother is visiting with me in Oregon. And upon her return, she too will attend a city council meeting to speak the words about my father and to acknowledge the city council and mayor and city staff for arranging to have my dad mentioned during Black History Month. I would also like to say that being an important figure as such, he should be recognized even outside of this particular month. Perhaps there is a way that we can collectively come up with a great idea how to celebrate and memorialize Dad's legacy, and we're open to sharing our ideas with the city council, mayor, and staff in terms of how Dad can be permanently honored. So again, I want to say thank you to the Thousand Oaks City Council, the staff, and I also want to thank the members of the public that spoke tonight. We really appreciate your support and your acknowledgement of Dad and all of the contributions he made to the city of Thousand Oaks. Have a good evening and be safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Kimberly. A round of applause there if you couldn't hear it. And congratulations on the efforts that you're doing with affordable housing for our seniors. I think that's wonderful. Next up, we have Nicole Becerra.
Good evening. My name is Nicole Becerra, and I live in Newbury Park. Just going to adjust this real quick. To our mayor, Mr. Adams, and to the rest of our city council here tonight, and to everyone in this room here tonight. Like I said, my name is Nicole, and I live and work in Thousand Oaks, and I'm a caregiver for seniors with dementia and Alzheimer's. And I really love what I do. It allows me to make a real impact in the lives of people every day. From assistance with dressing, eating, grooming, to talking about life, to talking about their accomplishments in their life, and singing together, creating art together, just being together in companionship, just being a friend. It makes me feel connected to humanity, and it gives me the opportunity to practice kindness, compassion, and love, which are some of my favorite things. I've worked in large facilities here in town with 75 beds, smaller facilities with just 6 beds, one-on-one with families in private homes. I've had conversations about care with seniors, their spouses, with adult children and other caregivers, nurses, doctors, administrators, and I've learned so much. It's given me tremendous insight into the world of caring for our aging community. I've experienced the good, the bad, and the ugly in all the places that I've worked. And it's inspired me to open my own home. I've been working towards this dream of mine for a while, and I'm proud to say that I've actually finally finished complete designs for a 10,000 square foot memory care home. I'm here tonight to ask for your help. My home will combine the wonderful amenities of a large facility such as a private chef and fine dining, a salon and a fitness center, with the warmth and the high level of care, safety, deep connection, and friendship of a small care home. The next step towards my goal, and why I'm here tonight, is to find the perfect place to build it. And while I am working with a realtor, I'd like to take the opportunity to ask the universe and everyone in this room if they have or know somebody who has land for sale. I won't leave any stone unturned. I'm looking around Thousand Oaks, I'm looking around at all of Ventura County, and just dragged myself all the way out to Agora Hills just on Monday to look at a few properties. I believe that my memory care home is part of the solution. Part of the solution, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. And finally, we have Clint Foltz.
Actually, he's going to be for consent, Mayor. We added him by mistake.
He's not on?
He's on consent. He's going to talk on.
Oh, yes, he is. I have just noticed that. Thank you. And let's go there. Anybody like to pull? Oh, we got a couple of pullers here. Councilmember Engler.
No puller. I was going to move consent calendar.
Oh, you're going to move it?
Yes.
Does anybody want to pull anything before we do any moving? No? All right. We have a motion. Oh, and now we have Clint, of course.
Hello, my name is Clint Foltz. I'm a resident of Thousand Oaks and a member of the Conejo Climate Coalition. We'd like to commend the city on its continued support for electrical vehicle charging infrastructure. We ask that you approve the grant of easement for the EV charging infrastructure at the Newbury Park Library. Additionally, the Conejo Climate Coalition would like to applaud the city for considering the purchase of 6 Ford E-Transit 350 cargo vans and would like to see the purchase approved. It's great to see the city setting a good example for the community and moving towards electric vehicles. While they're not a silver bullet solution to the climate crisis, electric vehicles require much less energy to operate than gasoline burning vehicles. In fact, with the nation's current electricity blend, an EV requires only about half the energy needed for a gasoline-powered internal combustion engine. Let's help reduce air pollution in our community and cut down on our need for dirty energy. Last year was the hottest year ever recorded on planet Earth. To save lives, we need to abandon fossil fuels and make the leap to renewable energy as soon as possible. Thank you for doing your part.
Thank you, Clint. And I believe we have a motion on the floor for the consent calendar. If you call for the vote, please.
Councilmember Engler?
Yes.
Councilmember McNamee?
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Newman?
Aye.
And Mayor Adam?
Yes.
And that motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. On to our first public hearing. If you'd announce that, please, Ms. McGuire.
Hearing advertised as required by law is open to consider agenda item number 10A, recovery of attorney's fees for nuisance abatement actions. There are no speakers for that item right now.
Thank you. And our Assistant City Attorney, Noel Duran, will present this issue.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the City Council. Before the City Council tonight is a proposed ordinance that would add Section 1-6.04 to the Municipal Code permitting the recovery of attorney's fees by the prevailing party to a nuisance abatement action. Generally speaking, the city tries to gain compliance with the city's municipal code through voluntary compliance. However, if such efforts fail, the city has a number of remedies available to it to obtain compliance with the code. One such remedy is the initiation of a nuisance abatement action. State law allows cities to adopt an ordinance to provide for recovery of costs and attorney's fees required to pursue these actions. This slide contains the full text of Government Code Section 38773.5B, which authorizes such fee awards. But I'd like to highlight just a couple of the main points of this code. One, the recovery of attorney's fees must be available to the prevailing party. A city's ordinance may not provide the attorney's fees be awarded to only the city. Second, cities may limit recovery in these actions where the city elects at the onset of a matter to recover attorney's fees. And finally, any award of attorney's fees is capped at the amount of the reasonable attorney's fees incurred by the city. Although the current code provides for recovery of inspection and enforcement costs, it does not have an attorney's fee recovery provision that complies with the government code. The proposed ordinance before you tonight has a couple of key provisions. One, it authorizes the prevailing party to a nuisance abatement action to recover its fees. The recovery of the fees are authorized only if the city elects at the onset to seek recovery of its attorney's fees. Any award of attorney's fees is limited to the amount of reasonable attorney's fees incurred by the city in the proceeding, and it also clarifies that the city is the prevailing party if city enforcement efforts are the catalyst to compliance. Staff recommends introduction of the ordinance and a finding that this action is not a project under CEQA, and I'm available for any questions.
Questions for staff? No questions. Mr. Newman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to go ahead and move we
have to close the public hearing first. And if there's no questions, I suppose we could do that. Close the hearing, that is.
Thank you again. I'd like to go ahead and move item 10A based on the findings 1 and 2.
All right. Any comments to the motion? No? I would just say that I would assume this would be an inducement to comply. If you know it may cost you attorney's fees if you turn out to be wrong. So that's a good thing. And then, of course, there's our policy of full cost recovery, or at least we try. So this might also go towards that. But thank you for the motion, and I'll call for the vote.
Councilmember Engler?
Yes.
Councilmember McNamee?
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Newman?
Aye.
And Mayor Adam?
Yes.
And that motion passes 5-0, and I have an ordinance title to read. Ordinance amending Thousand Oaks Municipal Code, Title 1, Chapter 6, adding Section 1-6.04, permitting the recovery of attorney's fees by the prevailing party to a nuisance abatement action or proceeding.
Thank you very much. We have another hearing. If you would care to announce that, please, Ms. McGuire.
Hearing advertised as required by law is open to consider agenda item number 10B, electronic campaign statements and Fair Political Practices Commission filings. There are no speakers for this item.
All right, and our city clerk, Laura McGuire, will be presenting this issue for us this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and good evening, council members. Tonight's hearing is an administrative action to update our municipal code as required by law in order to offer electronic statements and filings to have statements and filings submitted electronically. So first of all, a little bit of background for our audience. So prompted by the Watergate corruption scandal, California passed the Political Reform Act in 1974. In part, the PRA governs the regulation and disclosure of political campaign contributions as well as spending by candidates running for public office. The California Fair Political Practices Commission is the state agency responsible for the administration, implementation, and enforcement of the PRA. FPPC provides forms and guidance to candidates and their committees to disclose how much money they're spending, how much money they're receiving, and from whom they are receiving the money. At the local level, the city clerk acts as the filing officer in tandem with the FPPC for many of these filings that are required by the PRA. So currently, the city only accepts paper campaign statements that require handwritten signatures. Emailing of these forms is not permitted. Statements must be hand-delivered or mailed to the city clerk department by the deadlines established by the FPPC. After we receive them, we then review them and we manually scan them and to be posted to the public website so that the public can easily access them. However, we have some new regulations that allow us to change this process. So Government Code Section 84615 addresses the use of an online electronic filing system. However, in order to implement such a system, the city has to adopt an ordinance with the following findings. It has to operate securely, be at no cost, to be available to the public, to view the filings, and it will not unduly burden the filers. In addition to this government code, the Fair Political Practices Commission also recently adopted a regulation that allows digital signatures and electronic submission of filings. So they also have their own requirements. So a digital signature must be unique to the person who's using it. It has to be capable of being verified. It has to be under the sole control of the person using it. It has to be linked to data so that if you change any of that data, it invalidates the signature. And then there are other California Code of Regulations requirements that need to be met. Also, in addition, the FPPC will allow, if you have a digital signature, they will allow that form to be submitted via email instead of being hand-delivered, as long as it's an official agency email. So, for example, cityclerk@tokes.org is an official agency email, and we could accept filings through that portal. I will note that many of the software systems that are available for free, for example, Adobe, offer a digital signature, and the FPPC does have FAQs available how to use it, and of course my office will be available to help people use this new technology. So looking forward to provide a less time-consuming and more streamlined process for the 2024 election cycle, we would like to give candidates the option of filing their campaign disclosures electronically with digital signatures. So we can only do this, as previously mentioned, if we affirmatively state that we will allow that. I would like to know that note that paper campaign statements will still be accepted. We are by no means forcing that someone has to use this digital and electronic method. We would also, though, even further forward-looking, like to research getting an electronic filing system similar to the one that many of our staff and you as elected officials use for the Form 700 filing. And that would also be acceptable under the ordinance. There are several benefits of using electronic signatures and electronic submission. Some of these include making it simpler for candidates and treasurers to collaborate and to sign their forms, facilitating more timely submissions as set by FPPC deadlines. There's less manual entry, so accuracy will probably be increased. And in addition, staff will have to spend less time processing these forms, and that means that will translate into the public having easier and more quicker access to them. So there's two recommendations before you tonight. One would be to read the ordinance in title only, and also find that this is not a CEQA project.
Thank you,
with
Mr.
that-
McGuire. Questions? Mr. Engler.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just, I'm relieved to know that those of us who would prefer to do it in writing, we can still do it with paper. Are you looking at any provisions for those who are, really don't have the internet connections and whatnot to be able to do it electronically? Or would those people be required to do it by paper?
No, it would be a web-based system. Obviously, we could get Adobe free, and I'm sure we could use the library's computers that already exist in the public space to assist with that.
So for someone who doesn't have a computer at home,
Right.
they can easily use the libraries. Would there be help for them at the library, or could you assist them with that?
That's something I would look into. I'm sure we could make ourselves available to help. Yeah, of
Thank you.
course. Mhm.
So,
All right. We're all good? All right. No public speakers?
Correct.
Okay. Then I believe we can close the hearing, and we can move on to a motion. Mr. McNamee.
I'd like to move 12A and all the recommendations by staff.
All right, thank you very much. I will say I like this. You know, it's going to be faster. It's going to get out to the public quicker. It's more transparent. What?
Mayor, could I do that again? Let me do 10A. 10B, sorry, 10B, and all the staff recommendations.
Oh,
I was
I
off
see.
by one. Thank you.
I see, Mr. McNamee. Well, please be more accurate in the future. No,
I shall do that with you. It's something as
It's
important as
fine.
this.
we're all good. Anyway, as I was saying, no, I think this is great. You know, it's going to be faster. It's going to be more transparent. The information will get out to the public quicker. It's much more convenient, and it's, you know, it's the way of the world.
Exactly. Yes.
DocuSigns all over the place now. So this is just one more example of us staying with the times.
Yep.
Mr. Newman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And thank you also. I mean, of course, I support anything that makes residents' access to government more efficient, but especially here. I mean, a functional society depends on a functional democracy, and this makes elections more accessible to people who want to run. So thank you for that.
Hopefully. Thank you.
All right. We have a motion on the floor, so we'll call for the vote.
Okay. Councilmember Engler?
yes.
Councilmember McNamee?
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Newman?
Aye.
And Mayor Adam?
Yes.
And that motion passes 5-0, and I have an ordinance title to read. An ordinance amending Title I, Chapter 13, Section 4 of Municipal Code regarding electronic campaign disclosure statements and Fair Political Practices Commission filings.
All right. Thank you very much. And now for the grand finale. We have a department report from our senior engineer, Jorge Munoz. And I would ask you to go ahead, please.
Good evening, Mayor Adam and council members. Tonight, we are presenting a department report for the 2024 paving program construction award. Let's begin by taking a look at the scope and objectives for this year's program. The city maintains 380 miles of streets and typically implements a large paving resurfacing project every 2 years to gain economies of scale for construction bids, construction services, and economize staff time. The map depicted here lists the streets planned for this year's program, which encompasses roughly 46 miles of pavement rehabilitation and resurfacing. This amount of pavement rehabilitation is in line with the size of previous pavement programs. The city's current PMI, or Pavement Conditions Index, is in the mid-70s. The goal of this year's project is to preserve and maintain the city's roads in very good condition and improve the PCI to get it closer to the upper 70s. We're proposing the use of 4 different pavement strategies for this year's program. These treatments will be used on different types of streets as appropriate. We've successfully used these treatments on previous programs. All of them use recycled tire rubber or recycled asphalt pavement, which is in line with the city's efforts to be environmentally sustainable. In the next few slides, we will explore these 4 proposed strategies for enhancing the city streets. This year, 60% of the roads being rehabilitated in this year's program will be treated with rubberized slurry seal with a product known as REAS. REAS is a specialized product composed of water, asphalt emulsion, fine aggregates, and additives that is typically applied to residential and collector streets. The cost-effective treatment not only preserves pavement integrity, but also extends the life of roads by 5 to 8 years. This is accomplished by providing a thin resurfacing layer that helps protect and seal the existing pavement while improving aesthetics, ride quality of the road. This year, we're targeting various residential neighborhoods in the Newbury Park area, Thousand Oaks, as well as Westlake. Similar to REAS, another pavement preservation tool that we'll be using this year is microsurfacing. Microsurfacing is yet another cost-effective preservation tool, and it is used as an alternative to REAS on our arterial and collector roads that see higher volume of vehicle traffic. Microsurfacing is formulated with different additives to help speed up the drying time after application, which allows us to reduce roadway closure durations during high-traffic streets. Microsurfacing will be applied this year to higher volume roads such as Patterson, Rolling Oaks, Holland Drive, Via Merida, and Venue Park Road. Where slurry seal treatment may not be enough to preserve the existing roadway, the next treatment available for use is thin overlay. This overlay is placed at 1.5 inch thick and is used as an alternative to the costlier standard overlay where roadway conditions require more than a slurry seal, but the expected vehicle volumes and wear and tear of the road do not warrant a full 2-inch overlay. This treatment extends pavement life up to 12 years. The remaining roads in this year's programs will be getting the 2-inch rubberized asphalt overlay, which helps correct surface defects, improves ride quality, and may improve drainage, as well as extend the pavement service life 15 to 20 years. This type of treatment is primarily used on arterial streets such as Herbs Road, for example, Reno Road, Sunset Hills, and Westlake Boulevard. We are excited to also be able to include this year the Lindero Canyon Road, a milestone we're eagerly been waiting for the completion of the Cayugas and Las Virgenes Interconnect project, which is slated to be completed this spring. It's important to note that every time we repave, Public Works uses the opportunity of a blank slate by integrating appropriate road striping enhancements to develop more complete streets for all types of mobility. We carefully assess each location to determine feasibility and priorities and prioritize enhancements based on safety, traffic flow, and community needs. Here's a list of the streets that are planned for striping enhancement this year, which will include traffic calming measures, dedicated bike lanes, and pedestrian and crosswalk enhancements. Let's review the cost and budget. So for the overlay and curb ramp projects, CI 5594 and 5595, we're including 18 miles of overlay microsurfacing, as well as upgrading 99 existing curb ramps for ADA compliance, as well as repairing the Jans Road and Park and Ride parking lot. Bids were opened earlier this year in January, and the low bid was from Sully Miller, which is a contractor that has successfully completed similar paving programs in the past. For the slurry program, MI 2610, that will include 27 miles of slurry seal this year, and the low bid was from PMI, another contractor that has also successfully completed various projects with the city. All in all, here now is the combined cost of the entire 2024 paving program, incorporating the construction bids that were reopened last month, as well as all the engineering, design, testing, and inspection support services needed to complete the project. Here's the breakdown of the budget sources available to fund the combined project. Of note, the gas tax funding shown on this table includes over $7 million in SB1 gas tax revenue. Additional details are provided in the staff report. At this time, staff would like to thank council for their commitment and continued support towards the paving program. Given the scale of the project, with 46 miles of upgrade citywide from Newbury Park, Thousand Oaks, and Westlake, staff will be developing an extensive and multifaceted public outreach program, including branding, project logos, press releases, a continuously updated website, social media blasts, and strategically placed signs and message boards throughout town. The project has been moving ahead of schedule since the beginning of the design phase last year, and your approval will enable us to continue into construction next month and complete the project this fall. Thank you again for your support for this very important public works project. The recommendations are in the staff report, and we'll be happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Munoz. Mr. McNamee.
Thank you, Mayor. I first would like to say thank you to the Project Works Department. I appreciate our smooth roads, as the more I drive outside of the city and experience the potholes and poor road conditions of other cities, won't name them directly, but it's one where our city and the councils in the past have put a commitment towards the roads and their maintenance, which pays off dividends. Speaking of which, if we were to defer any of this maintenance here, why not put it off for 5-10 years down the road as compared to now? Are we saving money by doing it now as compared to later? Will the roads deteriorate more, costing us more money?
Good evening, Councilmember McNamee. Yes, that is a very good question, and we've seen other agencies that attempt to do that, but the two factors that work against you if you try to do that are the continued cost increases that will continue taking place between now and 5 years from now, which will make constructing those improvements even more expensive, and also pavement degradation is not linear. It holds itself stable for a while, but once it starts deteriorating, it basically falls off a cliff, for lack of a better word, and then you're going to be paying significantly more to try to bring the street back to the same condition that you could have done with just, resurfacing or preservation before it got too late.
Excellent. Thank you. Mayor?
Mr. Engler.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, similar to changing the oil in your motor car. If you don't change your oil, you'll pay a little bit more later on. So I'm glad that we're doing this. I'm glad that we're keeping up on our maintenance. Is there, as we all have, we've traveled in other areas and have found roads not to be in the same condition we are. I think most people recognize Thousand Oaks as having very good roads. Is there a rating system that we use on our streets? All the work we do, does it improve our rating, or does it have no effect?
Yes, there is a pretty common standard, which is called PCI, Pavement Condition Index, and each time we do one of these programs and the City Council dedicates this much funding to it, it does obviously improve the rating. We're doing our latest, every 5 years we do a full analysis of all of our streets, and we'll be coming back to council toward the end of this year with that update, which is a forecast looking down the road the next 5 years, and also includes some comparison to other agencies and kind of where we are, where we've been, and how much we need to maybe program for funding going forward to continue to maintain the streets in the condition they are. But right now, our pavement condition index is in the very good category, which is in the mid 70s, mid to upper 70s, and with this program, we should be getting close to the 80 mark, potentially even. Which is essentially has preserved the streets at the same condition that they've been in over the last 5 or 10 years. So we are maintaining our roadways.
And there's no roads that we know that are in dire need of work. It's just maintenance at this point.
Correct. That's one of the filters we apply every year to, as we ascribe and determine which streets we're going to include in the program. Is obviously we include certainly the streets that are on the lower end of the spectrum, and then also we include maintaining the ones that are in the 70s, so we don't have them that go into that lower disrepair area because those cost so much to repair. But that is certainly being covered, and I think after this program we're going to have very, very few that are not in good condition.
And if there's citizens out there who have a particular issue with any streets, should they contact their council member, or they should directly contact you, or how do you prefer to be informed?
Yes, I think going back a slide to the one with the project website on there, that has the best contact information, toaks.co/paving. That's your best source as a resident for the information, the maps, which projects are included this year, the notifications that are coming up for each street closure, and also contact information, phone number and email, et cetera, for staff, so we can connect with them and discuss.
Thank you. Congratulations on a good job, and thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Newman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And thank you, Mr. Munoz and Mr. Hadari, for continuing to keep our street infrastructure in such good shape. It's really a tribute that we have such good streets and that we're going to make them even better. On the budgeting piece of this, I wonder if you could speak a little bit to the payment sources for this project. It might help residents put their minds a bit at ease to know that this isn't entirely paid for out of residents' pockets, is it? There are other funding sources for this as well. Is that correct?
That is correct. We put that slide back on. I know we went through it maybe briskly, but here's the depiction of the different funding sources for the project, and it does take a village, I suppose you could say. It's a lot of different funding sources to make this happen. Contributions from kind of all over the place, including a Cal Recycle grant that we got that is, it's only a 1% or 2% of the project, but these things add up. And that is a grant that we've obtained for the use of the recycled rubber aggregate that we're placing, which we have been placing for upwards of 20 years now on our roadways, which actually benefits the ride quality and makes them quieter as well. So it's kind of a win-win. And we'll continue to look to innovate and find funding sources going forward in the future.
Very good. Every little bit helps. Thank you.
Mr. McNamee.
Thank you, Mayor. When I've been out in the community meeting many of the residents there, and they would point out to me that there's a pothole at this location or that location or a curb that needs to be repaired, I usually send over to them the app Mobile Citizen, and I found that very valuable in that it does a GPS location as well as you can send a picture over and give an address and keep the person informed of the progress. Perhaps we can do more outreach for the public to let them know Mobile Citizen is there. I do what I can when I go out in the community, but I found that to be a tremendous asset to let the public know of the potholes or other things that need to be repaired in the city.
All righty. Any further questions? No? All right. Then anything that staff would like to add?
As Jorge pointed out, we really appreciate the City Council support. A lot of other public works departments up and down the state don't have the benefit of having these resources and the ability and the confidence and the support of the City Council to do these important projects and maintain the infrastructure. So we really appreciate your support.
All right. Looking for a motion, Mr. Engler.
Yes, I'd go ahead and move staff recommendations 1 through 11 and also find it exempt from CEQA.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll just add that to the general public, this is good news, people. We're going to slurry pave or micro surface over 10% of our roads. And I can tell you that pavement condition index was mentioned. And of the 10 cities in the county, we are always up at the top as far as our conditions. And this is one of the services that the city provides. Streets, one of our primary duties, and I think we're doing a good job at it. Any other comments? Then I'll call for a vote on the motion.
Mr. Mayor, one quick comment.
Oh, yes, Mr. Engler.
Having worked in public safety my career, I do look at the streets and the condition of our streets as part of what the city does, trying to make sure that we have the safest city possible. Public safety is not only police, fire, EMS, but also the public works efforts that make our roads safe.
Thank you. And we'll call for the vote.
Councilmember Engler?
Yes.
Councilmember McNamee?
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Newman?
Aye.
And Mayor Adam?
Yes.
And that motion passes 5-0.
Thank you for that report. And now, let's go to our city manager, Mr. Powers, to bring us home.
Thanks, Mayor Adam. We'll be back 3 weeks from tonight. Just want to remind everybody that it's a 3-week separation, as we do have a contingent making their annual trip back to Washington, D.C. for some very important lobbying business, along with the National League of Cities Conference. We'll be back on the 19th, Tuesday night. We currently have 2 items as set for public hearing, both of which were before the Planning Commission last night. A very important initial implementation item for the general plan, which is our mixed-use zoning regulations. So that'll be before the council, along with our Hillcrest Affordable Townhome Project for consideration. So both of those items will be before the council on the 19th of March.
Thank you, Mr. Powers. So I'm going to adjourn the meeting, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.